Hey guys, very quick video here. I've done other videos on this subject. I'm doing another one because I got a question the other night that really concerned me, and it was about which do I need, liability insurance or an LLC? My response to that question in writing was you need them both. They're completely different things. They are not a substitute for each other. So I wanted to do a quick video again and just tell you, while yes, you can do business on Amazon or eBay or Shopify without an LLC, and in most cases without liability insurance, that doesn't mean you should do it. I know a lot of you are starting off with relatively little money. Just ad spend is a major a problem for you. So certainly forming an LLC or buying liability insurance up front is not something that you want to do, or in many cases you can do. But let me encourage you, as soon as you have made some sales online, and as soon as you say to yourself, okay, this online marketplace is something I want to remain involved with. This is going to be an ongoing pursuit of mine. Find the time, find the money, set up an LLC, and get liability insurance. In certain departments and categories on Amazon, they now require it. eBay, from what I understand, is moving in that direction. Shopify will move in that direction, I'm sure, as soon as they can find some way to force you to do it. It's good protection for everyone involved. An LLC is a separate business entity, and what that does is it provides you, assuming that you handle your sales revenue properly, your money properly, it isolates you from potential lawsuits and from potential liability should something ever happen. It also gives you some tax advantages and some opportunities to change your point of origin, if you will, or your home base, if you will, because you can set up an LLC in a state other than the one that you live in, and that may help you with the advice of a tax professional. That may help you avoid paying state sales tax where you actually live. The LLC can be an entity unto itself. I, for instance, have an LLC, or I have several LLCs, but the last two or three that I've set up have been set up in Wyoming, which is a state that does not charge sales tax, and that allows me, as long as I handle the money properly, that allows me to avoid paying quite a bit of sales tax in the state where I actually reside, and it's a significant amount of money. So there are many advantages to having an LLC. Liability is one of the advantages, the limited protection that it offers you from liability, and also some tax advantages if you take advantage of different placements for your LLCs. I'm putting a link down below of the company that I use to form my LLCs. This is not something you want to have a local attorney do because it's going to cost you 3 or 4 or 5 times as much. It's largely a paperwork issue. I have used a number of online services in the past, but I found one over the last few years that I've been thrilled with. They do rapid turnaround. Their pricing is the best I've seen, and I just don't want to pay more for something that I have to. The price of an LLC will vary from state to state. This company charges the same thing to do the paperwork in every state, and then the additional money is just whatever your state charges for their cost. So there's a difference in price from state to state, but it's not a question that they're charging you a different amount. It's that your state is charging you a different amount. Just to give you an example, though, in my home state, an LLC would cost me about $165 to have set up. That includes the legal fees and everything. The state that I have chosen to set my LLCs up actually charges $561 for the same thing. But the difference is that, again, I don't have to pay sales tax in that state where the LLC is registered. So even though I'm paying several $100s more up front, over the course of a year, I'm saving thousands and thousands of dollars in state sales tax that I would otherwise have to pay. So it is greatly beneficial to pay that extra few $100s up front and have the LLC set up in a non-tax state. As to liability insurance, if you're selling something that is just super, super, super safe, you can get by without liability insurance unless it's required. But with that said, I don't know of an item that is super, super, super safe. People are stupid. They find ways to hurt themselves with things that you never would have thought they'd find a way to hurt themselves with. And when they do, they sue everybody. If you sell a super soaker water gun and someone somehow manages to hurt themselves using this super soaker water gun, they're going to sue the manufacturer. They're going to sue the Amazon. They're going to sue you. They're going to sue everyone. And having liability insurance protects you against these ridiculous lawsuits. Now, with that said, I've never been sued. In doing business for 20 years online, I have never been sued. I'm very fortunate in that regard, but I know people that have been sued that have been in business for a month. Sometimes it's just luck of the draw, and some people are just not lucky. I know that while I may have been lucky in not getting sued, I wouldn't want to test how lucky I am in court, and I wouldn't want to have to pay the legal fees should I ever get sued. So having an LLC and having general liability insurance and product liability insurance is just, it's the final level of protection that you need. And I want to point out that as long as you're not selling something that is inherently dangerous, the product liability insurance should cost you no more than, on the low side, maybe $100 a year, and on the high side, maybe $500 or $600 a year at most. As long as you're not selling machetes, guns, flamethrowers, things that are inherently dangerous, your product liability insurance is going to be a fairly minimal expense, and it's one that's definitely worth having. Provides you with a lot of security and a lot of peace of mind. Once you've been in this business long enough to see and hear some of the horror stories that are out there, the thought of spending a couple of $100 a year to protect yourself, it lets you sleep better at night. So once again, it's not a question of either or between an LLC and liability insurance. They are two different animals. They do two different things. Ultimately, you need them both. And certainly once you start making money online, you will want to have both of them. So again, there's a link below to the formation company that I use for my LLCs. They can also do subchapter S Corps. Some states, it may be a little bit better for you, or price-wise, it may be somewhat better to do an S Corp. An LLC and an S Corp are essentially the same thing. For whatever reason, LLCs have been more popular in the last 15 or 20 years. But they both basically function in the same manner. But once again, I am not a tax professional or a lawyer. I can just tell you what I've learned through years of doing business. Everybody's doing LLCs now. That's probably all you'll want to do. But the link below will send you to the company's website. They do both. So just read their data, look at their information, and make your own decision. But definitely consider doing your LLC formation in a state that does not have state sales taxes. There are definitely some advantages there, and you should look into those because it can save you a lot of money. If even if you're only doing $100,000 a year in business, it can potentially save you $10,000 or more in state sales tax. So just bear that in mind. With that said, please hit like and subscribe. Ask questions if you have any. I will do my best to answer them within my amateur ability as a lawyer and a tax professional. But once again, if you really have those serious questions about taxes and liability concerns, you need to talk to somebody who's an expert in that. But certainly they're going to recommend that you do an LLC and carry liability insurance. So beyond that, there's not a lot I can help you with, but I'll try. So anyway, ask. I'll try and answer. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.